A quick shout out to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. We're going back to XCOM today, possibly for the last time before moving on to XCOM 2. I know, there's still so many possibilities out there, and maybe we'll come back to them, but when you hear about this final run we'll be doing, maybe you'll agree with me that it's time to move on. As so many of the comments suggested, today we're going to be using the MEC soldier. This beast of a soldier is essentially what you get when you combine a shiv with a soldier. I guess we've finally come full circle. But while everyone was asking me to use a whole team of mechs, I have a better idea. What if, and I'm just spitballing here, but what if we gave Chief a second chance? And so with that, today we're gonna find out. Can you beat XCOM with only a mech? While I get set up in Europe, let's go over the rules. First, the only soldier I'm allowed to use offensively is a mech soldier, singular. We'll have to make a second soldier for the purpose of the final act of the game, as well as dealing with Exalt, but that soldier isn't allowed to do anything offensive throughout the entire playthrough. Also, as per usual, we'll be allowed to use our regular rookies up to the point of having enough resources to get a mech soldier researched, which, if done correctly, should only be the very first mission. Second, no cheating or exploits. And third, we have to try and beat the entire game. Commander, give me strength. So, with that, let's... Oh god, they're already here? We haven't even started the run! Oh, never mind. What happened?
Ever heard of NordVPN?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
How do you keep getting into my house?
Irrelevant. What is relevant is all the great features NordVPN is offering you.
Honey, where's the spray bottle?
With NordVPN, you can rest easy knowing that your internet experience will be safe, secure, and exactly what you paid for. Feel like the internet slows down randomly throughout the day? Chances are your internet service provider is throttling your internet. Nord handles that little problem for you. Traveling abroad but want to unwind to your favorite streams in the off hours? Simply switch your location to almost anywhere on the globe so you can do just that. And if you feel like you've been getting a bad deal whenever you make a purchase online, perhaps Nord can help there too. So long as you're protected, companies and online markets won't be able to use algorithms to determine if they can offer you higher prices for the same goods as other customers. But it doesn't stop there. Whether it's for you or your loved ones, NordVPN is now offering Threat Protection, a program that can assess risks before they reach the delicate innards of your computer. Whether it's a sketchy website or an innocent-looking download file, Nord will assess the risk and notify you if something isn't right. So if you're easily confused by links like me, or just have a young one you'd like to make sure stays safe while surfing the web, Nord's got you covered. And with a single subscription covering up to 6 devices, you can make sure everyone you care about is getting the coverage you paid for. If you're interested in this offer, head on over to nordvpn.com/thebacklogs and get yourself some protection at a discounted rate. And if you're not a fan of the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in simply seeing if it works for you.
Alright, that's enough out of you. Go on, get! God, it's like once a month with that guy. Anyway, fresh meat, hot off the runway. Guess we're about to find out who gets the honor of being the chief this time around. As per usual, the first mission is my 4 rookies versus a couple sectoids. Nothing to really see here. With a few lucky shots, the group clears the mission, collects all the meld, and gets their promotions. Now this is where things get a bit tricky. We've got one of every class available to us, so that's a relief. But when you make a mech, their starting class will actually determine what type of mech you get. While I think on that, I start picking up all the research we'll need to get a mech suit up and running in the first place. I start researching meld recombination, ignore the alien activity that presents itself on the globe, blast down a UFO for the sake of keeping panic a little lower, then unlock the cybernetics lab. And, in turn, mech suits. Not bad. Now we just need to build one before the world panics due to the fact that I'm not doing anything. Thankfully, it only takes a few days for my lab to be completed, and with that, it's time to choose a soldier. For those that don't know, let me give you the rundown of what each class gets when turned into a mech. Assault classes get damage reduction from any enemy that attacks within 4 tiles. Heavies make it so that the nearest enemy has an increased chance to miss, and removes the possibility of being crit by that unit entirely. Supports give nearby allies extra defense, and the sniper gets additional aim and crit chance if they haven't moved. I think you know which class we're going with. Welcome back to the crew, Chief. I hope you're ready to finish the fight this time around. Oh, apparently you're Swedish now. Didn't realize IKEA was branching out into mechs these days. While we're here, we might as well pick our secondary soldier. I really like the defensive options the assault class gets, so congratulations, Gabriella. Your new name is Cortana. A few small cosmetic changes, and there we go. Close enough. Probably. Can you guess that I've never played Halo? But with all of our choices made, it's time. Master Chief is back for another round, with a different set of enhancements. It might just be the giant robot suit talking, but I've got a good feeling about this one. Speaking of, we have to choose what our first mech suit is capable of. Making a mech suit costs a lot of resources, so we hopefully won't be needing too many. For our first suit, we have two options. We can opt for a flamethrower, which does area of effect damage, and also burns everything in the environment, or fisticuffs. They're both my favorite thing. Can I just have both? No? Alright, fine. Give me the Rock'em Sock'em Robot. And with that, we've got our first mech. Time to get to work. Aw, you two look so good. A little cramped in there, though. So, when it comes to missions, here's how this is going to play out. Cortana will generally hang back, occasionally acting as reconnaissance, and overall just making sure she survives long enough to get some mission XP. And Chief, well, Chief has one job, and that job is to dish out plates of hot lead to every enemy he sees. And he's very passionate about it. That said, he's definitely got a lot of the same problems the Shivs had in the last run. His aim is pretty awful, and he doesn't benefit from cover in any way, so he's basically a sitting duck unless he can get the first and only hit in. So that's not great. But you know what doesn't miss? My fists. A few more well-placed shots later, and we're done with our mission. Not bad. Could be better, but not bad. Something I've noticed about Chief. Despite taking damage, he must have a higher damage threshold or something, because taking a few hits doesn't immediately injure him for days on end. Not sure what the exact math on that is, but I know better than to ask questions. I also got my first medal for Chief. I think I know which option I'm going for. Looking good, Chief. Keep 'em coming. A few more missions, a few more dead aliens, and bam, Chief gets his first promotion. We get our choice between 0 aim penalty or extra defense while on Overwatch. And considering the playstyle we're going to be adopting for this run, the best defense is a good offense. Now, while I languish over whether or not Chief needs more will or more aim, some of you may be wondering why Chief's promotions aren't coming in at Mach speed. After all, the last time we did a single soldier run, they were maxed out after a few missions from all the kills. Well, turns out mech units earn experience from kills 50% slower than other units. I guess that's the game's way of making it a bit more fair for everyone else. But with a quick purchase from the barracks, we should be able to uneven the playing field again. At least somewhat. Uh-oh, my first report card. Alright, let's see what the damage is. Oh, alright, that's not that bad. That's not bad at all. I used my monthly allowance to get the alien interrogation chamber up and running, then go out on patrol to get some more experience. Uh-oh, that's not gonna be good. Oh, good, right for Katana, great. Thankfully, Chief isn't too far away and is able to handle the situation, but that's definitely going to be a problem. Cortana is going to need some way of not getting constantly strangled, as she'll be the target of choice since Chief doesn't have a neck. Yep, proof of concept. Definitely going to be a problem. But at least the arc thrower is done, which means we can start interrogating aliens now. Weirdly enough, this is yet another reason why I need Cortana along for as many missions as possible. Turns out, mechs can't use items of any kind, so without her help, there'd be no way to capture aliens for later. Damn it, Cortana, no, you're doing it wrong. You can really start to see the difference between the mechs and regular soldiers after a while, though. Cortana's taken about 4 damage by the time the mission is over, and Chief has taken about 6. But when it's time to come home, Cortana's out for days on end, while Chief just shrugs and gets back to work. Definitely need to get the barracks upgrade for faster healing, though. Chief can and will do entire missions on his own, but it's a lot more cat and mouse when he needs to do his own recon. And it's not always clear who's who. He did get a new promotion, though. This time I get to choose between an extra 2 damage towards every enemy I've ever autopsied, or an ability that reduces incoming damage by 2 if I've already been damaged that turn. Can't take damage if they're dead, am I right? Of course, now that I have plenty of bodies to autopsy, I also have the ability to research beam weapons. Beam weapons. Always beam weapons. On top of that, Cortana finally gets herself an arc thrower, so interrogations are now on the menu. Very nice. At this point in the game, the enemies are starting to get stronger. Floaters and other hard-hitting enemies are starting to pop up in greater numbers, and since Chief can't actually hide from enemy damage, I have to play hard to get, running just out of enemy range and letting them come to me. I also have to make a concentrated effort to send Chief out of range whenever he needs to reload his weapon, which, I hate to say it, it's extremely often. You'd think a giant mech would lean towards a super aggressive playstyle, but when you've only got one, that's simply not the case. Knock knock! Anybody home? Ow! God, okay, bad idea. Fuck it, time for a Hail Mary. Everyone's too injured at this point to play it safe. Oh, thank God. Well, we got the outsider, but at what cost? Ugh. 6 and 7 day injuries. At least the promotions take away some of the sting. Cortana gets extra defense depending on how many enemies she's surrounded by, and Chief gets rocket boots that'll let him jump right to the tops of buildings for an extra height advantage. That should help. Ooh, I also have enough money to buy a second mech. Don't get me wrong, the fisticuffs have been fun, and it is nice to have an automatic victory button if I'm ever up close and personal, but it's become very clear that crowd control options are where it's at for this run. Well, nothing to do now but let Chief and Cortana heal. Hopefully nothing. Fuck! Chief, Cortana, you ready? Yeah, I didn't think so. Sorry, China. you're on your own with that one. I got nothing left to give. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, come on! Oh, thank God, finally some good news. With beam weapons now on the table, we're going straight for the heavy lasers so Chief can have a bit more firepower. He doesn't really need it, but he will soon enough. Oh good, another report card. And another country leaves XCOM. Cool. Well, at least heavy lasers finished up, and brought a giant railgun along with it. Let me just get that for Chief, and I'll be happy. What do you mean, no? Engineers? Guess we'll have to kill more aliens until... You know, no one likes a smartass XCOM. Fine, whatever, just give me the gun. Jesus, you're gaining mass, aren't you, bud? Alright, I take it back. Getting all those upgrades was absolutely worth it. And wouldn't you know it, they look even better in action. You can't even tell what Chief just annihilated, but it's definitely dead. Jesus, this isn't even the halfway point. Chief still has a lot of upgrades to go. Oh, and I figured out a solution for Katana's constant strangulation. Turns out, the railgun is a pretty viable solution for most of life's problems. Well, consider me incentivized. Let's see what else we can get, Chief, shall we? Carapace armor is one of the minor steps to making bigger and badder mechs, but we've also got several interrogations and autopsies to perform as well. Which, I'll remind you, not only gives us some great upgrades for Chief, like more ammunition per reload, but also gives him a permanent +2 damage to every enemy we dissect. Getting stronger all the time. I was also able to nab rapid healing, which should help with all the damage we keep taking. Our little group packs quite the punch, but not being able to dodge bullets has really started to add up. Just in time, too. Looks like Exalt is ready to start annoying me. Oh, do they have a surprise waiting for them. Go get him, Cortana. May your jacket and jeans serve you well. Not gonna lie, as awesome as Chief's firepower has gotten, things haven't been going so well on the grander scale. Feels like he's been out of commission more often than not, and the amount of orange and red on my mission map is getting a little too omnipresent for my comfort. Hopefully dealing with Exalt will help out with that. Boop. Got your nose. Boop. Got your, face. Oh my lord, do my ears deceive me? Oh, they've got mechtoids. Let me just soften you up a little bit. Now for the moment I've been waiting for this entire run. Chief, do me a favor and show that mechtoid the power of Swedish engineering. Fucking hell. That was worth it. Now if you can just finish strong for me. That'll do. And a promotion on top of it all? Very nice. Overdrive means Chief can now fire his primary weapon twice in one turn, so long as he hasn't moved. Our DPS essentially just doubled. Oh, and would you look at that? It's time for Cortana's extraction. Bring her home, Chief. These missions aren't too bad. Cortana just needs to press all the buttons while Chief annihilates everything in his path. Which he does. With extreme prejudice. Huh. Clever girl. Unfortunately for you, it wasn't clever enough. Alright, that wasn't so bad. And would you look at that? Cortana can dodge bullets now. I've definitely been throwing her into the line of fire as if she already had that skill. That's my bad. So much to unlock, so little resources. I want more ammo, but there's also alien grenades to consider. Oh, and we can't forget the jelly delirium. Oh, and the advanced servo motors. Oh, and the shaped armor. Oh, Needless to say, my foundry is going to be very busy for the next few weeks. A few missions later, and I finally decide to research the crystal thingy I found, which in turn means we can finally assault the alien base. And while I'm excited about the idea, I think we should hold off a bit longer. Chief has several upgrades in the works, and I'd hate to give the aliens an improper greeting. A few more successes under our belt, and a useless promotion for Katana later, and I finally got the meld needed to upgrade one of Chief's mech suits. Let me just consider which option to go with. Grenade launcher. Grenade launcher all the way. Oh, and would you look at that? An opportunity to test it out. Jesus, Chief, you build any more mass and we won't be able to get you off the plane. Alright, let's just see how long the range on this thing is. Holy hell, it's like half the map. Oh look, test subjects. There is a civilian in the way though. Not really happy about that. You know what? They would have murdered him anyway. I'll always remember your sacrifice, random civilian. Well, friendly fire aside, Chief is just as big a powerhouse as ever. Can't wait to get those alien grenades added to my inventory. Man, this whole shoot twice thing in one turn is an absolute game changer. With as many tools as Chief has, it's pretty much guaranteed that he can take care of at least 2 enemies a turn. And with that absolute success, Chief is at max promotion level. We can either make it so that Chief never takes more than 33% of his max health and damage, or he can return fire at the first enemy that takes a shot at him. As if you had to ask. Ooh, and a new medal? You know I gotta take that aim and crit boost. Chief basically works alone as it is. There's our improved flamethrower. Very nice, very nice. And there's improved grenades. Let's just make sure they work as intended. Yep, that looks good. And would you look at that? A few mutons to help me get to ammo conservation. You'll love to see it. I gotta say, I've been having a blast with this run so far. As big and bad as Chief is, you can't just go rushing in guns blazing due to the lack of cover. You always have to look for a height advantage and other ways to give yourself a leg up. Enemies all clumped inside a building with only one entrance? make a better one, then just blast them all to hell for their lack of foresight. God, it feels so good! Sure, a lot of Chief's methods are a bit much, but you can't deny the results. It's not like we really needed the bodies and weapon fragments anyway. Oh yeah, Exalt. Forgot about you. Sure are a lot of you. You all don't learn very quick though, that's for sure. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Ah well, maybe next time. Let's see how the world is doing. I mean, it looks a little less red than before, I think. I don't know, man. I just shoot aliens as they pop up. What I do know is that we finished researching Titan armor, which means MEC 3 is now available when I have enough resources. God, I can't wait. I also have South America's continent bonus now, which means I can research autopsies instantly, which is great, considering that basically means Chief now gets a +2 bonus against any enemy we've ever killed in battle. I finally get ammo conservation, realize I've dramatically fallen behind when it comes to Air Force dominance, discover that Muton Berserkers are still a terrifying type, if they can reach you anyway, then finally get the particle cannon up and running. It's a good day. And with that, I think it's about time to assault an alien base, don't you? Cortana? Where's Chief? Oh, there he is. Let's make sure the particle cannon works real quick before we move too far in. Okay, once more for good measure. That should be fine. Not a whole lot to say about the base, actually. Despite my fears, it seems like we're a bit overprepared. Nothing is really able to withstand the firepower I'm dishing out, and with Cortana happily acting as bait for all the alien pods, Chief is easily able to dispatch all the enemies on the map one by one, while Cortana dodges and weaves between map obstacles. The dream team in action. And without too much fuss or muss, they make it all the way to the final room, where the sectoid commander is waiting for us. Alright team, if you can capture that one, that'd definitely be useful to us in some way, shape, or... Chief? Chief, what are you doing? Chief, no! No, don't applaud that. Chief just evaporated everything we could have learned from... you're right, that was pretty awesome. And besides, we've got their fancy antenna. Now we can get all the free Wi-Fi we could ever want. Well, at least the sectoid commander's death wasn't all bad. We can get the Psi Labs up and running at least. And despite Exalt still being a pain in my side, we're basically in the home stretch. It might not be the greatest idea, but let's speedrun to the end. Exalt doesn't really matter anyway. Besides, I've got all the fun toys I could ever want already. Isn't that right, Explosive Mine Launcher? Jesus, did we just lose part of the ship? Oh, wait, that's Chief. Alright, new mine launcher. Let's test it out. There's a few enemies over here. Let's just get that mine up. Oh, it's gonna be one of those, huh? Well, at least we've always got our particle cannon. Oh, hey, the mine still worked. Alright then. So, yeah, mines are definitely a great addition to my strategy toolbox. The fact that I can set up traps for enemies at choke points is just too much fun. Yeah, watch out for that there. In any case, if we're gonna get anywhere, we're gonna need to upgrade our fleet. I get some plasma weapons for my ships, make sure every single one gets an upgrade of some sort, and... Oh no. It's that time, huh? Alright, guess we all knew this day was coming. Please let Chief be there. Please let Chief be there. Please let... Oh, thank God, he remembered how to use the stairs. I was legitimately worried for a second there. I swear I have a memory in the back of my brain where I had a mech soldier that came in as backup, but wasn't wearing his mech suit. Can you imagine? Did you forget your pants? No, I forgot my entire body. Oh, that's way worse. Anyway, you know the drill. Chief is the only one who can fire on enemies. Everyone else is alien target practice that, at best, is able to run away and hunker down. Judging by the amount of harder than usual enemies, I think I might have taken a bit too long to complete the story missions. But thankfully, I've got a semi-acceptable answer for that. It's not enough to fully bring down enemies, but at least I can injure whole batches for future attacks. Oh, come on, where were you hiding? Okay, let's just get all the squishy rookies away from the big terrible death machines. There we are. At least this way, they might use their entire turn to reach my soldiers before... Oh God, you can do that? With things going south pretty much immediately, I send Cortana off into the distance to hopefully help keep her safe. Sort of. Meanwhile, Chief uses as many traps and tricks as he can to damage multiple enemies in a turn. It's not the greatest strategy, but guerrilla warfare is kinda all I got. But with enough strategic shots and backpedaling, and some well-placed meat shields, rookies, I hold my own pretty well. And then the second room finally revealed itself. That's a lot of health bars. With the first room cleared, I pulled all my soldiers back so I could take full advantage of their ability to distract enemies. And then the third room decided it was time to crash the party. Great, no, that's fine, just what I needed, more enemies. Well, you know what time it is. Back to the old traps and camping strats. God, look at that. That commander is controlling like 6 guys. I wonder what happens if you kill him while he's hooked up. Okay, point made. It's now or never. Just within range. Hope this works. Hey, 1 grenade and 5 kills. I can work with that. You know, we might just be able to pull this off if we can keep everyone physically away from Chief. Guess it's time to use my super secret ultimate strategy. That's right, Operation 3 Stooges is a go. Basically, while Chief slowly whittles away at all the extremely impressive health bars down below, I've got the one rookie I have left, and Cortana, plugging up the tops of ladders. I don't know if this actually works, and Lord knows there are enough ladders in this map that there's no way to actually stop enemies from reaching me. But at the very least, it gives me a little bit of breathing room I need to hopefully eke out a victory. Eventually, the game picked up on what I was doing and sent in nothing but aerial units, but it always worked out that I had just enough time to pick them all off. And after a very tense game of search and destroy, that was it. Good job, Chief. It only cost us every single rookie we had. So with the base actually defended, somehow, we can move on to the last section of the game. Time to bring the fight back to them. I give Chief his final medal, give Cortana as many as she can hold as well, build the hyperwave relay, and finish up the psionic labs. We're in the home stretch. After I plug Cortana into the labs to unlock her hacking powers. Wait, hold up. Socks? The game nicknamed her Socks? Is that canon? If I ever play Halo, that's officially canon. Anyway, after I plug Cortana into the labs to unlock her hacking powers, I can finally see where the Overseer UFO is hiding. Good thing I have an amazing Air Force. Don't look at that. Besides, who's finally finished her psi testing? All right, Cortana, an AI with limitless knowledge that can now control the world around her with mind powers. What could go wrong? Well, that's the firestorm made, which means the end is in sight. Let's do this. Overseer UFO shot down, Cortana bait utilized, and hallway trapped. So long as Cortana can make it through the hallway without the Overseer catching up to her, it should... Oh, okay, that works too, I guess. Reflect this, you motherfucker. And with Shiny Orb got, the big bad finally shows their face. One more mission to go. Cue the Doom montage. Alright, you all know the drill from here. Time for the gauntlet. Pacify the sectoids, blow apart the cyber discs, ground all the floaters, and blast all the chrysalids. And after a quick sneak attack to the thin men, there's only 2 rooms between me and the final boss. The Muton room is a bit tricky, considering they have a Berserker, and both Mutons can do some heavy damage. But if we use the Berserker's aggression to our advantage, we can lure him into a position where he's too far away to attack on his turn, but is right in the middle of our sights when it's ours. Easy peasy. As for the rest, it's a bit more cat and mouse. With a little careful positioning though, I make sure that Cortana is the more inviting target. And since all of her bonuses are defensive, the likelihood of her getting shot is pretty low. After that, we just leave it to Chief to clean up the mess. This next room though, yeah, no, not a good time. I know I didn't show any previous footage of fighting against Sectopods, because I only ever fought one, and that was bad enough. But in case you wondered why it's so rough, see that damage? See how it's a single digit? Yeah, that. For a while there, I was a bit worried that this is where the run would die, considering there's 2 of them, and it takes at least 5 shots with the particle cannon to kill them. And you can forget about grenades and mines. Those do jack shit against their armor. Oh yeah, they have mortars too. Sorry about that, Cortana. Thankfully, I got extremely lucky with the RNG on my successful run. Chief took a little damage, but due to some very strange circumstances, one Sectopod decided to bull rush the stand and stayed underneath where Chief was standing. And since that one was unable to hit him, Chief was able to pump clip after clip into the one playing long range. I don't know why, and I don't care. If it works, it works. And after a fatal game of chicken, Chief was able to get a tight angle on the last Sectopod, minimizing risk and making Cortana the juicier target. After taking full advantage of that, the Sectopods are down. Oh crap, I forgot about the Muton elites. There we are, problem solved. 1 room to go. The nice thing about this final level is you can predict what every enemy will be and where they'll spawn. And while normally the Overseers and Elite Mutons would be too much for Chief to handle, we're going to use his poor vision to our advantage. See, if Chief can't see far enough into the room to trigger the enemy spawn, then we can load up the room with mines before the fight even starts. A few mines here, 1 or 2 over there, and we're set to go. Alright, Cortana, go let them know we're here, would you? Oh my god, that was beautiful. Hey, Chief, would you mind? Thanks. Now, the fight isn't over yet. We've still got 3 Overseers out there somewhere. If we're not careful, they'll just take control of 1 or both of my soldiers, and their range is actually longer than either Chief's or Cortana's. But, did you know, if you lure out their chieftain, get lucky on his choice of attacks, and get a lucky crit, you can kill him in 1 turn. Which, ends the game? I know, I'm as surprised as you are. But apparently you only need to kill the leader, not the rest of the overseers. Cortana decides that Chief needs to survive another day, then takes matters into her own hands, making the ultimate sacrifice and saving Earth. And that's it. XCOM Enemy Within, beaten with a single mech. I had originally intended to complete this challenge with just an assault unit, but after seeing the comments so excited about the possibility of a mech-only run, I knew I had to combine the two. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and go ahead and hit all the buttons and yell about how I've never played Halo in the comments down below. It's okay. I can take it. With this run finally accomplished, I think it's about time I moved on to XCOM 2. Can't wait to see what lies in store for me there. But until then, take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.